guys. Today is day 18 of the Greater Than One challenge that we're doing, and today's topics is lows. Now, yesterday we talked about highs and all the crazy things they can do to you. Now we're going to talk about lows and all the really crazy things that it does to you. Now, when I'm low, I tend to talk really fast, I tend to fidget, and then I start to say things that don't really make a lot of sense, but they're kind of funny, and so people think that I'm just being funny, I'm being silly. And then it goes from that to almost as though I am maybe on some sort of illegal drug. And I'll start talking really, really fast and really not making sense. And I'll be kind of like this, and then I'll just start moving around, and I'll just start picking my fingers, and I just scratch my face, and I don't know what's going on, and I just start talking about random things, and it doesn't even did you know the color blue was so funny? Things like that. Like it just go, because my brain is just dumping information, so to speak. It doesn't know what to do, so it's just dumping things, just so confused, because there's not enough sugars for the electric signals to pass through like it should. So therefore my brain isn't getting its food, my body isn't getting its food, and the silliness, as people think it is actually my brain dying. It's killing it off and kills off cells and neurons and pathways because there's not enough sugar to feed everything. So it seems kind of cute and funny, but it's really scary. And like I said yesterday, that a high will kill you eventually, but a low will kill you right now. So recently I went low, and nobody realized that I was low. And we had made dinner, we were getting ready to go sit down, and I was just supposed to carry my plate of food from the kitchen to the table where we sit. And I started to carry it, and I got confused about what I was doing, and I just sat down in the middle of the hallway and started crying. And when somebody asked me, when one of my kids came up and they were like, "Hey, mommy, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And I started crying to her, and I said, "I'm a lost little girl, and I don't know where I am. Do you know where my mommy is?" And then that really got her scared and confused, because she's the little girl. I'm the mommy. Why am I looking for my mommy? Like, she didn't understand, and it was my brain downloading extra information. It didn't know what was relevant to the current situation. And so there I was, lost in my own hallway. And it seems kind of funny, but it's really not, because when they checked my blood sugar, because I don't remember it, but when they checked my blood sugar, I was only 28. You can fall into a coma and be brain dead at 50. I don't remember this situation. It's completely blacked out. I don't remember that night at all. As though I were so intoxicated it wasn't even funny. But I wasn't. My sugar fell low and I didn't know. And so it seemed funny, but it really wasn't. I was really close to dying. Now, I don't have huge swings like that very often anymore. The lows are usually caught in the 60s. Eddie usually catches me in the 50s or 60s. And, well, he usually catches me in the 60s, but I'm still in the 80s, and so I don't listen until I get to 60s. I have a bad habit of not paying as close of attention to him as he pays to me. But he does catch most of my lows now, so those kind of scary events aren't as often as they were. Now, when we talked about insulin, and I was on the insulin when I first came out, that Walmart insulin that we talked about, I had 3 and 4 lows every single day because of it, because it's just so hard to manage on that. Now, I did survive, but there's been a lot of damage done to my body and my brain. I noticed that even though I've only been diagnosed a year, I still have a lot of hard times remembering things. A lot of my short term is going, and it wasn't like that before. And when I talked to my doctors, they told me that that's a result of the lows, is why I'm having the memory issues that I'm having and things like that. And it really it hurts and it bothers me that I don't remember these things, that the kids will tell me something and I'll be like, why didn't you tell me this? And they're like, I did, Mom. I've told you 4 times. I don't remember any of it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't remember it. But it's because of the lows. Your body literally doesn't have the fuel to live. Every cell you have, it needs fuel. It needs sugar. That's where our bodies get our fuel, is from carbs and sugar. That's where we get our brain fuel. And if we don't have the sugar, then our body dies off. And I've been kind of close to that a few times. I've been in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, quite a few times the 40s. Because I am what's known as hypo-unaware. I don't feel my lows until I'm 42, 41, 40. Right in the low 40 ranges when I'm like, I'm a little bit shaky. Which is another symptom. Shaking, fast breaths. You know how we talked before with highs? I try to catch my breath. When I'm low, they're little short panty breaths. When I'm high, I'm trying to like gulp the air, but when I'm low, it's like the air hurts almost to try to take a breath. And it's because it's fighting so hard. But I mean, this is something that as a type 1 diabetic you live with every day. And that's why I was telling you guys that I'm high in the mornings when I wake up, because I don't want to die in the night. Because it's so easy if I don't have that extra snack. If I go to bed in the normal range, let's say I go to bed at 120, which is a perfectly good number. But I happen to have a nightmare, or I drank too much water before I went to bed or something, and it diluted it a little, and then all of a sudden I'm 70 when I'm asleep, and then I'm 60. And if Eddie just happens to be sleeping hard, because he's still a pup in training, he's not there all the way yet. So if he doesn't happen to catch that one, that was the important one we needed, you know? That was the one that got me. So it's really very important for me, myself, and what I feel my care should be, that I go into my sleep routine fairly high, because that way it gives me so much wiggle room. Like if I'm high, like I said, that'll kill me later. But being low kills you right now, this minute. And that's why I have hold on, there we go. Emergency medication. This is an emergency glucagon kit. I don't know if y'all can see that. There you go. Now, inside of this, if my blood sugar gets too low and I pass out and I'm unresponsive, the kids know how to use this little bad boy. Now, at the top up here, it has pictures. I don't know if you guys can see those, but it basically just tells you what to do. If you find somebody unresponsive and they have one of these, this is probably what's wrong with them. And these are the old school kits. They have really cool new ones that are already pre-mixed in the syringe like this, and it's ready to go, ready to use. They also have inhaled glucagon now, but your person has to be with it enough to inhale. So you have this lovely powder vial and an insulin vial, and like a syringe. Sorry, this is not a vial. This is a syringe. You have your vial and you have your syringe. You would snap the top off and snap this top off and inject all the liquid. You take off your little stopper here. Inject all the liquid into the vial. Then you gently, because if you do it too hard, air bubbles will form and those hurt really bad. You gently shake it to dissolve. Don't shake to dissolve. No, you shake it to dissolve. And then once it's all the way dissolved, then you put the needle back in here and you pull all of it back out. Then you take your little vial off and you will inject it into a leg. So we're going to pretend that this is my quadricep, okay, the big fat muscle on top of your thigh. So you all the way, and then you inject all of the medication straight down into their thigh muscle. Now, glucagon is something that every normal, healthy person has. It resides in your liver, and it's a the wake me up kind of thing. Now you guys would probably call it your second wind when you hear track people or somebody like, oh, I was out working really hard and I don't know what happened or what came over me. I just got a second wind. That's your glucagon. Your liver was like, dude, we're in trouble. And goes, poof, and gave you a whole bunch of sugar right out of your liver. That is what this is. This is an artificial form of the same thing that comes out of your liver. You guys have it naturally, but because we are diabetic, our pancreas doesn't let it know in the liver what our problem is, and so we don't get the dumps like that. So that's why we have to have glucagon. If our body gets too low and we're unresponsive, this is what we need to come back to life. Now be careful. If you administer this type of medication to somebody, after you administer it in their leg, roll them on their side and open their mouth. They don't tell you that anywhere. It's not part of the instructions that they give you. But I have seen people get this administered to them and they start vomiting. Now, the problem with that is if you're laying on your back, where you should be if they're administering it in your leg, then when you vomit, you can asphyxiate yourself, where it goes down into your lungs. And you essentially drowned on your own sick. We don't want that. So if you ever have to administer glucagon to an unconscious person, roll them on their sides and open their mouth so that if they do vomit, that it is not in their lungs. Because that doesn't help them any if their sugar's okay, if they still died from suffocation. Okay? So don't forget to roll people on their sides. They don't ever tell you that. Little insider tip here. Roll them on their sides. A lot of good low treatments. We've had that before on one of these videos. We've had good foods to have when you're high. We've talked about highs. We've talked about lows. Lows are really scary. So try to stay on top of those lows, but don't let highs get too crazy because then your A1C will be, and then you'll get sick and start losing fingers and toes. Diabetes is a game of numbers. It's a game of averages. So hopefully you can keep your average on point and you'll be feeling good. And that's about all we can do for it is try to manage it because there's not a cure. Insulin is not a cure to diabetes. It's just a tool to help manage it until we can find a cure because there's not one. So until then, guys, we will see you tomorrow with a brand new topic and, make it through the night. Keep your lows in check, guys. Bye.